We live in a time where learning is experiencing an amazing transformation. In some ways, I think it's not only moving forward, it's also moving backward. We live in a time where we've grown up used to the industrial revolution's method of instruction, where we cookie cutter everybody and they all learn at the same time at the same pace. And we're moving more toward learner-centered um, education. And I think e-learning and technology, as it becomes more ingrained into our lives, provides an opportunity to individualize instruction much, much more, and creates the opportunities for learners to learn at their own pace. In some ways, it's almost a return to the learning that took place in the one-room schoolhouse, where everybody worked at their own pace. Not completely, but to a great extent. I really think it meets that one-room schoolhouse paradigm. Each student learned at their own level while being exposed to learning at different levels. Our current system of education really is a product of the Industrial Revolution. It was designed to turn out students at cookie cutter. All of them learning the same thing, all of them having the same knowledge when they completed. And our move into e-learning provides the environment where we can move more independently. Of course, that does create a problem, because then we have to figure out how we determine mastery, how we determine the effectiveness. Education, by nature, requires evaluation. In a traditional classroom, the methods we used are based on a variety of things, but mostly it's based on that personal presence. They got to see the teacher every day, and you got to interact with that teacher personally every day. And such things as standardized testing, verbal discussions, presentations, projects, and even observation enabled the teacher to assess the mastery of their students. However, e-learning brings with it new challenges and paradigms and parameters. Assessment in a brick-and-mortar setting is a very different model than what e-learning requires. The online educator has to develop a unique model to provide assessment through the e-learning paradigm. Alonso Diaz and Justy Tonasi examined e-assessment and came to the conclusion that assessment in e-learning needs to be individualized. It needs to be based on formative assessment rather than subjective. Their concept is to have the student, in collaboration with the instructor, develop the basic aspects of assessment utilizing a variety of tools, such as self-assessment, group collaboration, individual activities, overarching group project, interaction online on a one-on-one basis. Essentially, assessment follows a formative model where the emphasis is placed on continuous improvement, constantly reviewing and moving through it. Wang, who wrote two different papers that I came across, developed what he called the web-based assessment model, which provides an opportunity for students and teachers to have continuous interaction and feedback. Wang also noted that the formative assessment model, what he called the WADA model, provides beneficial feedback. Furthermore, he feels that such a system, by utilizing a pre-test, provides a personalized dynamic assessment that grows with the student, and in order to enhance learning. One aspect of e-assessment that cannot follow the face-to-face model is the need to have all students test at the same time. E-learning can't do that, so e-learning has to individualize assessment just like it does instruction. My personal education journey has been very, very different. I've spent almost my entire career either in correctional education or adult education with adults. And for that reason, assessment models have always been about student-teacher collaboration. You determined with the student by a pretest where they were headed, and you built a plan for each individual student. Every adult program I've ever been a part of develops what we call an Adult Individualized Education Plan, or an AIEP. And part of that process was a collaborative effort. I really think that e-learning, in a collaborative effort between the teacher and the student to develop their assessment models using self-assessment and collaborative groups and projects to demonstrate mastery, and well as an e-portfolio, which are a regular part of adult ed, should be a part of an e-learning system that provides a foundation to determine mastery in the classroom. It is a revolution, and it is different because we're moving from that lockstep model to a model that says this is where we're going, and each individual student learns at their own pace and demonstrates mastery based on a collaborative decision between the student and the teacher.